This is the first of a series of video essays that I will call Political Correctness, the Death of Truth. Let's start off with the first primary definitions here. There is truth, which is just plain truth. Reality, sometimes cold, sometimes harsh, but it is reality, therefore reliable. It doesn't tend to play tricks on you. It tends to be the same all the time, therefore you can count on it. You can plan your life based on reality because there is a certain amount of reliability and lack of change therein. Then there is politically correct truth. That politically correct truth is revision of truth, changed definition, manipulated definition of truth that is used to manipulate the opinions of people who, for whatever reason, choose not to like to deal with real truth, do not like to deal with reality, and so therefore attempt to redefine the meaning of truth for themselves and then expect everyone else to follow along blindly. Now, this upcoming election is probably one of the most critical in a long time. And it's important that this series be started now. I support the party of Abraham Lincoln, which is the party who believes, especially in these days, in following the real truth, the absolutely reliable, factual, historically proven truth, which includes such things as the party of Abraham Lincoln has over the years fought very hard to put people like ethnic minorities, racial minorities, women into high-level public government office than the other party, the other main party, who has tended to keep women and ethnic minorities out of high-level politics because they don't like to give up their control. Because part of their control is to control your mind. Now, the party of Abraham Lincoln follows one part of an old proverb that says, it's better to teach a person to catch fish and be as self-supporting, self-sufficient, and independent as you can be. The opposite party believes the opposite side of that proverb that says, oh, no. You can't do anything for yourself. You need to come to us. You need to depend on us for everything. We need to be the monkey on your back with the big capital D on it from the day you're born until the day you die. Which, strangely enough, sounds kind of like it's economical and psychological slavery to me. And oh yeah, it seems like there's a certain little historical fact that the party of Abraham Lincoln changed the laws to make slavery illegal in this country. So I don't know about you, but I frankly do not like the idea of being owned. Okay, and considering that fact, the fact that they want to control how you think about things, and they want you to be dependent on them for everything. It's a matter of they can only stay in power as long as they can convince you that you can do nothing for yourself and that you need them to provide everything for you. That is why I also refer to the politically correct thought control crowd party as the codependency party. Now, let's go on to an example of classic textbook hypocrisy. Several years ago, you might remember the election between George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton, his first term. Some of the more conservative folks in the Truth Party thought, well, he does a lot of running around on his wife. Is there maybe a chance he might do the same thing to the country that he's been doing to his wife? And of course the other party says, oh, no, circle the wagons. That's not true. Don't believe that. He will not do that to the country. His marriage, his family life is their business and their business only. Don't be concerned about it. Move ahead a few years. The year 2012. The re-election into the second term of Barack Obama. There was a man running in the Truth Party during that year who was a businessman, had a business experience, had a good family life, was a black man, by the way, which that fact, first of all, left the codependency politically correct thought control party with a bit of a problem. See, now we can't very well sabotage him by calling him a racist because he's the same race as Barack Obama. Can't do that. And well, even though this is what we really think, we cannot publicly call him an Uncle Tom. Although that's exactly what we're thinking, we can't publicly say that, because that is the same as turning on a Godzilla-sized flaming red neon hypocrite sign over our heads. So what to do? How do we get this guy to give up? How do we sabotage his chances of being elected? Oh, aha! Here's something, and we'll pull it off, and we'll see who's paying attention out there and who's not paying attention. What they did was, now harken back again to Bill Clinton's first election against George Bush Sr. and some of the thoughts of concerns of some of the more conservative voters out here about his relationship with his family and how it might relate to the country. They said, leave them alone. Their marriage, their life is their business. But it seems like now that Herman Cain is in the picture, they got to find another way to get him out of the race. So, what we do is we start sending out little innuendos and suggestions and vague accusations that he's not loyal to his wife. And they kept it up and kept it up and kept it up until finally the man, unfortunately, very unfortunately, decided to drop out of the race because he wanted to make sure his marriage wasn't sacrificed for the interests of politics. And that's unfortunate because I, for one, and I think many people that I know in the Truth Party would have happily supported him. But you see, the codependency politically correct thought control party used the same technique to sabotage Herman Cain that they were all yelling about when anybody brought up that subject with Bill Clinton in his first election. I call that hypocrisy. Now, the question is, I know it's hypocrisy. I caught on to it as soon as it happened. I figured it out. Did you? Or were you one of the parrots and sheep and cattle who vote for the politically correct thought control party and either just let it pass, didn't care, didn't notice it? Which is it? Did you see? Did you notice it? Did you care? Okay, knowing that, there has to be a decision made. You need to decide if you're a sheep or parrot or herd of cattle. Quick verbal footnote: a parrot is a bird which makes sounds to imitate human speech, but it has not one microscopic clue as to the meaning of one word that it attempts to imitate, not one clue about the meanings of what it's saying. And cattle and sheep are basically, by definition, two different ruminant prey species who tend most often to behave and think in terms of being members of a flock or a herd, not as individuals. I choose to be an individual myself. So, in summary, to start closing this episode out, you need to decide if you're going to support the party of truth and real freedom, economic, social freedom, independence, and the party who freed the slaves, or are you going to vote politically correct thought control party, codependency party? Because if you do that, then, like it or not, or if you know it or not, you are then making a deliberate, conscious choice. You are volunteering to put the chains of economic and social slavery right back on. Is that what you want? You really need to consider that. Like I said, there's a very critical election coming up. You need to decide whether or not you want to stay away from slavery, or if you want to volunteer to become a slave again. Now, the politically correct thought control crowd has been pulling off this scam for several decades now. It is the biggest steaming gooey pile since the dinosaurs died. And like I said, you can look up the fact that the Truth Party of Lincoln has worked to put more women and ethnic minorities into high-level public office than the other party or any other independent party. And has also, you remember the Voting Rights Act of 1964, 1965? Care to take a guess which of the two primary parties posed the most votes against that, the Voting Rights Act? Clue. The party who wants to be the monkey on your back with the big capital letter D on it. The politically correct thought control crowd. Again, Do you want to keep the chains of slavery off, or do you want to put them back on? So, there are going to be plenty more examples of flagrant hypocrisy as time goes by between now and the election, and I'm sure beyond the election, no matter who wins, I'm sure there's going to be more continuing hypocrisy from the politically correct thought control crowd. And if you don't see it, have no fear, because I will be very happy to report it to you. I'm quite sure, quite confident that there will be no shortage of material for me to catch and come back and report it to you. And I'm happy to do it, because personally I believe in freedom. Depends on what you think of freedom. So I'm going to move along here, and until the next episode, keep yourself free. Use your head for something more than just a counterweight to your feet, and really think long and hard about the decision you're about to make. Until next time, bye-bye.